tenor sax. It's huge. It's amazing. It's saxophone. And I love mine. I just got a new one. It's a Yamaha Custom Z. Yeah, I love it. So we're going to talk a little bit how to tune the tenor. It's really honestly not very different than tuning the alto. The only difference is the tenor is more, it takes more control. You need to have more air and more oomph to get all the notes out. I personally am having some issues with intonation on the tenor saxophone, especially the higher I go. So if you want to pause the video and go check out the alto saxophone video so that we can consider how to set a proper embouchure, that would be amazing. I'm just going to speed through it here. If you want a slow and detailed way of doing it, then yeah, go check out the alto video. But number one, make sure your reed is placed straight. Whoa, this is really far. This is a big instrument. Okay, straight, up and down. Your ligature is where you want it to be. It's not too high on the mouthpiece. It's not too low. And it's, you know, it's holding your reed where it needs to be. Adjust your tenor so that you don't have to like bend to play it or you're dying back here this way. Okay, I just invested in an extra long neck strap. That's the word for this thing. I just invested in an extra long neck strap for my tenor so that it's not choking me by being so close to my head. Bring the instrument to you. Do not go to your instrument. Don't bend down just to be able to play it. Okay? Sit up nice and tall. Hold the instrument to the side. Adjust the neck. Adjust the mouthpiece so that you're sitting straight up. Okay? Embouchure rules, 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we close our mouth around the mouthpiece like we do with the backpack. Okay, it's just nice and shoop. I love this saxophone. It's really low. So adjusting the pitch. Now, we're going to first start off by knowing that this is where we adjust our pitch, by bringing the mouthpiece, pushing it in and out of the neck. So we're going to open up a tuner. We're going to use the Smart Music tuner because you have that one at home for sure. Okay, you got to just open up a piece of music. It could be an assignment. It could be anything. I'm going to select the tenor sax part. Even though we're not going to work on the assignment, we're not going to read the notes or anything like that. We're just going to use the tuner option that's inside here. So it's lunchtime. My stomach knows it. Okay. Like I said, don't worry about this. We're going to come over here. It's like this tuner right there. And ta-da, we have a tuner. Now, the pitch of the tenor saxophone is it's a B flat instrument. So when I play a B flat, the rest of the world hears a C. That's just the way this is. I can try explaining it some other time. I just need to find out the best way to explain it without it being confusing because it really can be very confusing. Okay. So the way we like to tune is by playing a concert B flat, which for us is C. So we play C and we get out a B flat, and C is just middle finger. Okay. Your muscles got to be controlled. Okay. I don't know if you can hear, but mine is going. That's because my muscles are not as strong as they ought to be. Even though you don't have to be as firm on the lower instrument, like on the lower saxophones, like you do on the alto, you still need to have control. And the best way to have control is by having your embouchure set correctly and using the right muscles in the right places. Now I'm generally sitting in tune, so let's kind of do a little bit of adjusting here and there. Let's see where it's landing so that we can, for the purposes of teaching. Okay, I moved my mouthpiece. I don't know if it was in or out. I just kind of wiggled it around. Let's see where it lands. So it's landing a little bit on the sharp side. So we're going to discuss about, well, it kind of makes sense. I could use the ukulele to show you, like so. We got the strings of a ukulele. The strings are also Let's gonna use this little high string up here to kind of demonstrate what's going on. The length of this string is from here to here. This is just how long it is, and when it's this long, it sounds like this. Now, if I were to take this finger and I were to cut the string, put my finger right there, now the string is this long. Oh, looks like period's almost over. Okay. Now the string is this long. This is what it sounds like. Is it higher or lower? It's higher. So the shorter you make your string, the higher the note gets. Same deal with your instruments. I mean, if you're coming from alto sax and you moved on to the tenor, I mean, the tenor is huge and it sounds lower than the alto. The bigger it is, the lower it gets. Okay, so I'm sitting a little on the sharp side. I need to make my instrument bigger. So it's too short. It's too short. And I'm going to make it bigger by pushing the mouthpiece out, therefore elongating the length. So I'm going to pull out the mouthpiece just a little bit, not too much. And now let's try this. I'm going to close my eyes so that I know that I am at default setting, and I will see what the intonation is. Too short. So I'm going to pull out like a ton more. Close my eyes. Default setting. Too far. It's too big. I'm going to make it shorter. So I'm going to push in. Ta-da! And now I'm in tune. Now, I've tuned myself and default setting. This is in tune. Do not move it. Do not touch it again. Okay? Make sure that you've used your muscles and that they get used the same way every time. Until now. Now we're going to adjust and move our muscles. So we have our default setting, which is concert B flat. But not every note is in tune now. So what I'm going to do is I'm playing C. Now I'm going to drop my thumb and we're going to jump the octave and see what that sounds like. I'm going to close my eyes and then we'll see what happens there. It went really sharp. At this point, I've tuned my instrument, but why is the high note not in tune? That's because this instrument is so big, the slightest adjustment you make with your embouchure affects the tune, affects the intonation. So what happened is when I kept my same embouchure from the low concert B flat and I jumped up the octave, I was holding it too tight. I was too firm. I need to loosen up. Now this is where it gets playing these low instruments difficult because we're just so used to being pretty relaxed. At this point, we got to use the muscle. We're going to open up our teeth. We're going to drop our tongue, but we got to make sure that our lip muscles are still firm around the mouthpiece. Otherwise, it's going to make like a cracking sound. Okay. So. I went too far and then I adjust. So it's just, it is a matter of dropping your jaw, okay? Dropping it a little and then like pulling it back makes it flat, pulling it forward makes it sharp, firming this up makes it sharp, dropping this back makes it flat, okay? The looser you are, the flatter it gets. The space inside your mouth, okay? Also adjust that. The tongue helps the air. It's an experiment, okay? It's a big adjustment, especially when you get higher on the saxophone. This one tends to be really sharp up there. So I just need to do some more practicing, and I create what we call a tendancey chart, where you take your fingering chart and you tune your concert B flat or your concert A or your concert F, really, whatever you want. And then you go through every single note in the chromatic scale, da 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 da, and you go all the way up, all the way down, and you use the tuner. And you practice long tones. Long tone is basically you play the tone for a really long time. You play the note and you try to hold it in tune for as long as you possibly can. You could even take a timer and time yourself. Like, can I hold it perfectly in tune for 10 seconds without it moving? That will develop muscles, okay? You need muscles here to make this work the way you need it to be in tune. Because when you play with other people and you're not in tune, it's really obvious and it sounds awful, okay? So you go through your fingering chart and you're like, wow, my high C is really sharp. So you just draw a big arrow and you're like, pitch down. And so that you know, as you play your, your chart, that you got to drop the pitch, okay? Tenor saxophone is really sensitive on that, especially if you have really low numbered reeds, okay? Like twos. The harder your reed is, the more firm your muscles can be, okay? Let me know if you're interested in changing reed strength, and we can discuss what needs to happen before you can do that. But yeah, if this video makes sense, great. If it didn't, shoot me a message and we'll see if I can come up with a different way to explain this. If you need me to help you in a video conference to just kind of like take a look at what's going on in your face and with your instrument, I would be happy to. Please just schedule a conference time on the online learning page on Canvas, or shoot me a message on Canvas and we can schedule a time. And yeah, just let me know how this works for you. And hopefully tenor saxophone starts becoming a little easier to tune for you. And yeah, so it was great teaching you this. Bye.